There are a lot of things that we did that no one ever did before. That's what made it interesting. This is the beginning of our investment in that cultural revolution. All of Hollywood is in a toxic state, not only the nervous system from their lack of self-care on every level, but many are really addicted to substance. I believe in wellness, and I believe people healing themselves and holding space to heal themselves and letting the body be healed enough to heal itself. And the idea is to find natural remedies that are safe and modern health technologies that are safe.
Why not try to, create a following of people that will help you at the same time, not maybe realize also their dreams, but also to maybe realize your undertakes.
Every business I've ever had has been equipped with people smarter and better than me. So everything we do in life, every single thing we do is geared towards having those minutes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, first of all, Russell, for inviting me, for maybe me inviting myself in a certain way. But, I've been following your career and you have a hat, I don't have a hat, but I would take my hat off to you for everything you've done for the world, for culture, for people, and what you're doing right now. I think this is wonderful, incredible place that you built out here. So let's talk.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Tell me your story.
Well, my story is simple. I grew up in Queens. I had a rocky childhood, not a good family, rocky childhood, a lower middle class neighborhood. There was lots of heroin and the neighborhood got destroyed. I was lucky enough to make the right choices. I went to school. I discovered hip hop. For me, discovered it. I saw it in 1975, first performance, Eddie Chiba, and then I started producing parties. And then one day it came to us to make a record, and at that time, we and a few others made records, and our record was #1. And after that, 1979, from then on, I made a lot of music. Everybody from the Beastie Boys to Run DMC to Jay-Z and Kanye. So all in between was Def Jam, a lot of it. Not all of it, but really a lot in between was Def Jam. And then I did Def Comedy and Def Poetry, and I made a bunch of movies. I made Nutty Professor and various other movies, and I made just a lot of art. I had a fashion brand. We did at one point $1 billion. The last couple seasons we broke the $1 billion, but it was really, when you talk about branding and fashion, there's always the high number, like the retail number, but we shipped about $500,000 in goods, $500 million in goods 2 years in a row, which was, for at that time, was a huge number. So Fat Farm, Baby Fat, and we sold it to Kelwood. We did Rush Cup. We invented fintech.
Yeah.
We did the first fintech company. There are a lot of things that we did that no one ever did before. That's what made it interesting. The record was made, there were no records. The comedy, with Dave and Martin and Jamie and Cedric and Bernie Mac and Chris Tucker and Steve Harvey and Cat Williams and just so many more artists that became famous because of that show. That was a good platform that changed American comedy. And then the fashion, there were no urban at all, no black fashion designers at all at the time. And there had been a few, but they were still limited in terms of this. And then Fat Farm came along, and then we branded that into what I told you. And then the poetry was, no one believed it was possible, to make a poetry show, and we made it for 12 years on HBO, 12 years. And that was different and special. And then we took it to Broadway, won a Tony Award. And then I've had a long history and a lot of activism. Obviously, you know that, right? And I got a lot of people out of jail, like 10,000 African Americans just on the Rockefeller drug law shift. And we did a big thing around that. And then we did a lot of other activism around pretty much every subject that, the progressive agenda was working on, whether it be, and I've since come to change a little bit about that, but I still believe in the core principles of all the work we did, but I think that now it's such a polarized world, it's kind of hard to do advocacy work. So that's just, and then I fell into yoga 30 years ago, my first yoga class. I practice every day, pretty much, since. So now I live a life, and I built this as a nucleus for my investment in the next world. The next thing I'm going to do is, with this GDOS, God's servant, what this means, this hotel, the next thing I want to do with it is I want to invest in the flourishing of this new mindset where people are seeking consciousness and health. And I know that there's always going to be, like they say, it's polarized, so everybody has different, but there's this huge contingency of people seeking health at the same time that we're being poisoned. My friend who died, who named this hotel, was a music guy. I used to manage him. His name was Andre Harrell, and he signed Mary J. Blige and Puffy and so many artists. But he's my best friend and competitor. He sat on that thing that was my couch across, because my house is right across. And he sat there, and I told him that Krishna had given me a mission and a name. And I told him I wanted to, because I'd written 5 books on happiness and spirituality and the same subject we're talking about. And I said, I want to hold space for people to heal and grow. And I said, Krishna gave me a name. So you tell your man from the hood that Krishna gave you a name, that's a fucking joke, right? That's hilarious. I said, Krishna gave me a name, Govinda Dasananda, God's blissful servant, Sanskrit. And he's like, nigga, I'll call you G-Das, which means God's servant. And then he died, and I started building this hotel. And this hotel, it has stem cells, it has cryotherapy, it has a lot of the toys.
You and I done that. That was incredible.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So, but I still have to finish it. I was telling Puffy this morning from jail, he called me, and was saying, what is the next step? This is the beginning of our investment in that cultural revolution. Right. Kids will go to a spa, and they'll get in the sauna, and it'll be like the club. That's it. They don't want to go out and get drunk. They don't want to go out and destroy themselves. And when you're in wellness, then you really find spirituality. When you're in spirituality, wellness, I mean, all of it goes to the same principle. Like, the yogis, the physical asana practice leads to all of the rest of the other 7 layers, right? Yeah. So I say it's kind of like, and I've written all these books on this subject, I believe that my next chapter can make that impact. I'm not alone for a change. When I did fintech, people laughed at me for a lot of years, right? So that was different. No one knew, and the bankers certainly didn't know. So that was different. When I did fashion, there were no black designers, and it was years before anybody really took notice. So what I did in poetry was a joke. So this is something that everybody's already finding out. I don't have to be first. All I have to do is be part of it, ride the wave, as opposed to have to knock the doors down.
Is it just, continue to develop this location, or
no, this location is a nucleus for more locations, for sure. I talked in Saudi, they were very excited to build more. In Dubai, they were excited to build more.
Would you do another one here on Bali?
I would consider doing one by the water.
Okay.
Yeah, because people leave here and go to the beach. Okay. And they come back sometimes, they like, oh shit, I like this better. But yes, to have a beach, so there's outside of Canggu, but close enough that, because this club, as it develops, people come every day and work, and they're starting, right? So this club, and Canggu has one, right? They have a couple, Nirvana, they have 4. It is part of a new evolving culture. I saw something that I thought was fascinating online. I saw in China, they have a place like this that people come, and it's 24 hours, and they have pods, not a hotel, but they have pods to sleep in. And these pods, the one I saw, you hang your clothes and it cleans them, or steams them. You have your TV, you have your room, you press the button, it's dark. And you stand up and come out of it, you walk across a little pool to another little pool, go over to the corner and you have your breakfast, then you walk over here, and you jump in the ice bath.
I've been in Guangzhou to one of these places, incredible.
So America, I can see going to Chicago as a business person, sometimes I would go to Uluwatu. And this was, a couple of years ago and years before that, just to go to sleep in a hotel that had terrible service, just so I could jump up in the ice bath and I could go into steam and I could be in an environment of such, and also like-minded people who like to do that. So you get up at Astana and you go jump in the ice bath, you meet people who are interested in health and spirituality and these things.
You should come to see my land in, Chandidasa.
Yes.
Chandidasa Magis,
yes.
That area where the Amman Resort, the Alila. So we recently purchased 2 pieces of land, leased 2 pieces of land. So one land It's not on the ocean side, but on the other side, on the mountain side. It's actually a mountain, a hill. So it's a hill that is about 80 meters up, but it's a single hill going like this in front of the ocean, 360-degree views, ocean. And you know how Candidasa is it's located east-west. So you can see sunrise, sunset, huge palm valley, like ocean, like right in front of you. And then Agung, because Agung is very clear, but mountains, and Agung is right behind you. Amazing, amazing place. Plus, we purchased another second piece of land on the ocean, also leased another piece of land on the ocean. It's small, it's 14 ar. So the land on the hill is 2.4 hectares. The land on the ocean is only 14 ar. But because of the restrictions to build there, we want to build there a beach club. So you'll have this secluded mountain with most amazing views.
But what about the rest of the environment? I mean, because to get a really expensive hyperbaric chamber, to build a 5-star gym, to build all of these things, unless you want to make a very high-end. Super high-end.
Super high-end.
Because we've had already interesting people who would probably pay and would want to, like Mike Tyson's been twice, Usher's been twice, Taraji's been twice, JB Smooth's been here, I said Sean's kids just left, but who else was just here? David Banner just left. I said that JB Smooth with David Banner, TJ Mahan. So a lot of artists are coming, and they were coming before I built this. This only opened in October, so this has been open 6 months.
Yeah.
But the future of this place will be, it'll be, and it's still to be polished. There's still, I don't have the proper hyperbaric chamber. I'm researching which one will go here. But when all the toys are here, and when maybe 10 more rooms, it will be a very, very special, it already is a special place.
But it's a great place because it is located in Ubud, and located basically in the center of Ubud. But something like, well, first of all, I don't know if you know.
Well, people also, there are a lot of people who talk about coming to me who, especially in Hollywood, they all drink so much. They don't, no one says they're alcoholic, but you drink every night. And they do drugs, they take Percocet all the time, and they never admit to drug, but then they know they have to reboot their lives. They have to. And so all of Hollywood is in a toxic state, not only the nervous system from their lack of self-care on every level, but many are really addicted to substance.
Right.
And if we were to build a place that was magical, and that was one of the calling cards, you wouldn't call it a rehab, it's a rejuvenation.
Yeah, rejuvenation, well.
And the word wellness is even, say longevity center.
Longevity center, yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna build more of everywhere. And I like the apart idea, because I believe that GDOS in the middle of a city with a 24-hour place, and then maybe, I don't know how many pods you put in there, it could be a lot for all I know, because they're small, but to stay 24 hours in a place like that, and to be able to eat, now we have 2 restaurants, to have 2 or 3 chefs, and to have I think you replace giant clubs. You look where giant clubs are, and they're closing everywhere. And if you put a place like this and you go in and now you're in this magical spa, and it's social, and you have these places to work, and you want to hang out there, and you can take meetings there, and it's like Soho House, but it's not. I think that there's a big future in that. I think Equinox is trying to do that, but they're doing it differently.
I remember you were saying that you're planning also, or trying to create, and we actually spoke about this potential, some business venture product line, right?
I have to.
Yeah.
GDOS Health and Wellness Products has to happen.
Right.
Has to. GDOS Health and Wellness Products, because we're talking today, my partner Captain here and I are talking about the magic, not magic mushrooms, but the magic of mushrooms that are being overlooked in the pharmaceutical industry is, here, BSI Clinic's moving in. You know BSI Clinic?
No, I don't.
You don't know?
Oh, I don't.
BSI Clinic is the #1 herbal group. They have 4 different clinics here in Bali. And the people come here to get cured of cancer because they're very big on the vitamin C treatment. Right. So they've cured quite a few people of stage 4 cancer with their vitamin C treatment. But they're big herbalists. I just did a 40-day program with them. They are very against, and their vitamin drips are so sophisticated. They do things like There's mangosteen in the vitamin drip. We know mangosteen shrinks your prostate. We know that it's anti-inflammatory. We know it's, but no one puts it in a vitamin drip, right? They're very into all the natural wellness that's been either it's overlooked or even suppressed.
Right.
A lot of it's been suppressed, so they are very good at that, but at the same time, we also have, other kinds of medical support systems. I believe that there's a future in the integration of these things, and there's integrative doctors that are running around who our wellness director has a really good sense of all of the various kinds of treatments for the various kinds of illness. So he's very natural. Yet, if you're sick and you really need it, he'll recommend antibiotics. But I'm saying in general, there is a lack of understanding. Everybody thinks that their form of healing it's the only one.
Right.
And of course, you got to give a patient options.
Of course.
Right. That's what I believe. I believe in wellness, and I believe people healing themselves and holding space to heal themselves and letting the body be healed enough to heal itself, which is a key factor. I mean, you know what pharmaceutical industry does and how horrible it is to so many people. Just find the right balance, but not being heavy-handed, not pushing anything, but making things available. We have an Ayurvedic doctor is available. People like, my girlfriend has allergies. She did ozone therapy, where you take the blood out. I didn't mean to tell you that she did this. And you can see the stuff in the tube, and then of course it comes back. It's ozone therapy. It's been around 50 years. Her allergies disappeared within a day of doing it, and it stayed gone for a while. She had to do it again, and it worked again. So that's ozone therapy. And then it's, of course there's ozone chambers, which I will have the best of. I think that's, modern health technology is really explosive. There's a lot of money and research being spent in it. You don't have to be quick to give people things that are not researched. There's so much that is researched. There's so many natural remedies that are researched that do have great, safe alternatives. There's so many safe alternatives. There's so many things that, one never gets healed if you just live with pharmaceuticals.
Absolutely.
So that's my wrap. I believe the future is in finding them. And I have a lot of very famous wellness directors that would be happy to be part of it. And I've been talking to them, I just can't figure out who the best one is.
But tell me, what's stopping you from launching this line? Well, I mean, the time, right person to manage?
Well, I'm at liquidity crunch. I'm fighting the American government right now.
Yeah, I know, I remember.
Yeah, so when that resolved, then I'll have some liquidity.
What kind of capital do you see required to launch something like
I
this?
don't know.
I mean, fundraising is my forte.
We haven't picked a location. We haven't thought about building a hotel. The line of natural remedies, I believe it. I think that's where I want to start. I don't want to, I'm not here to sell NAD treatments. And, at some point, when they're more research and when peptides are more safe, they're not unsafe, but it's unsafe the way people are taking them without knowing what they're taking. There's a lot of that. But I think there's a lot of, things that are proven that maybe if something, we know black seed oil for forever, right? We know sour salt leaf, we know Irish sea moss, we know all of these natural remedies that even if they're not the most effective in a space, we know they're very effective, we know they're safe. And the idea is to find natural remedies that are safe and modern health technologies that are safe. We know we go into cryo chambers, reduce inflammation. We know it's been around 15 years. There's no adverse effect. It's only you come out high, you're happy, right? You came out high.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful.
So, and we know that we need circulation, and that's a special thing. So that's what I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see this place expand, but more importantly, I like for its influence and its credibility to expand, and to expound on the idea.
Would you say that would be important? I mean, I think you have a partner there, but mentorship. I mean, you've done so many great things in your life. You have been at the forefront of creation, fashion, creation, fintech. Well, why not try to, create a following? I'm not saying a huge following. I'm saying a following of people that will help you at the same time, not maybe realize also their dreams, but also to maybe realize your undertakes. I mean,
Well,
it's difficult for one
This
person.
idea that GDOS should be a brand that sells natural remedies that, but the other thing is, someone told me that I said everybody knows black seed oil, you take it, it tastes the same. Well, no, it has to come from Ethiopia. Really? Well, it's multiple times more effective. And I don't know that, but the research has to be done. Like he went to China just now to research mushrooms, right? Lion's mane, just with China, just for that. And tell me what you just, his name is Captain Herb, by the way. That's his name on Instagram, Captain Herb.
We have an intention to create a lion's mane brand because we were taking lion's mane for break, and when our lion's mane was over, Russell said, let's produce it. And I started to do research, and I found out that there are only a few countries in the world that they can produce the real lion's mane, because the real one that works for your brain, it should be grown on the liquid. It should be liquid based. So then we found out that China is the best producer for that. And I
Hydroponic? You mean like hydroponic or
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like very, very, very special thing, because the component that people need for the brain is in the root of the lion's mane, in mycelium. So you should grow it up on liquid, on water. Then you are taking out the mycelium, and you are making an extract of mycelium.
Interesting.
So the point is to go and find, and the products to start, if we start with lion's mane and reishi mushroom, morning and night, right? And they're really special. And what's the multiple of efficacy versus the stuff we mostly would buy? How much more potent is it than the other lion's mane?
Around like 80 to 100 times.
Wow.
You understand? I mean, it took a long time to answer, but 80,
Look,
that's a big deal.
Let me explain the difference. I said the mycelium, you need the root to the mycelium. But if your lion's mane grew up in a brown rice, you can't take the mycelium out. The only way to take the mycelium out is to grow it in water. And if it's a grain-based, it's a brown rice-based mycelium, it means it's 99% rice, the pure rice,
Right.
or grain,
Right.
and 1% mycelium.
Right.
But the water-based, the hydroponic mycelium, it's 100% mycelium. That's the difference. So that's why I said it's 100 times bigger.
I think his question is impact of actual mycelium grown in the water, how much stronger the effect of the water-based mycelium versus the rice-based mycelium.
100 times.
No, I understand.
It sounds unbelievable.
It produces 100 times more mycelium, but the actual, do you follow? The actual mycelium, the strength of actual mycelium.
What we are interested in is adenosine A. That's a component, it calls its molecule, adenosine A. Adenosine A is the only thing in the world that creates new neurons and new neuron paths inside.
Do you have something to try?
Yeah, we have samples.
Yeah, would love
Yeah,
would love
so adenosine A lives in mycelium.
Right, gotcha. I understand.
Isn't that?
And then because you get more, you can produce more. I understand. Okay, all right. And concentration is higher. Okay,
All right, so
gotcha.
anyway, the point is, there's a lot, we don't know what absorbs. You're learning more now. Now you can take pictures, and sometimes ChatGPT can tell you, or not ChatGPT, but there are apps that tell you the efficacy of various different, there's so many pills you take every day that don't get absorbed. There's so many pills you take every day that are just pure crap. There's so many toxic, horrific things in so many, nutritious, quote unquote, or necessary health tools and toys. I mean, just people don't notice. It's very unsafe, and it's not regulated, and the regulators are really just, completely corrupt. And so there's no credibility in the space. See, I think the proper brand, when we did Rush Card, and no one ever heard of a debit card, when we were doing it, we had to educate people on what it was. It was a very difficult process. People laughed while we were doing it, but it was difficult until it caught on, and then, even then, it was like multiple. It was hard to make it multiply because it was hard for people to pass along this information. Eventually, it started to really catch, but because it was necessary. It was necessary. It's necessary now, and people take a handful of pills every morning, and none of it absorbs. There's a guy who meditates with me in the mornings. He's back, I heard. I haven't seen him yet. Andrew. You may know Andrew. Andrew Saloni. Andrew is developing a product that makes pharmaceuticals absorb 3 times more, 5 times more. So if he can do that, and you can take something that, maybe takes 100 milligrams in order for it to work, and has all these terrible side effects, now you only need 25 milligrams. Yeah, but he's absolutely, on a path to make a lot of these pharmaceutical drugs more bioavailable. If you can do that well, he said, yeah, but that's not the goal. If you can make pharmaceutical drugs way more available, and you need a lot less, and way more friendly, then it changes all of the side effects.
Like a delivery system.
Of course, if the delivery system works, so that's what he's working. I said, well, why don't we do that with natural herbs? Why don't we do that with, magnesium and potassium and anything, Why don't we do that with Cialis? He said, we did it. I said, what do you mean? He said, you can take a spray, and as soon as you spray it, the circulation of your body goes crazy. I said, really? So he's already, but those are pharmaceutical things, but to do it with natural things, to be a natural herb supplement company that, takes these herbs that everyone needs, or these nutrients everybody needs, and makes it so when you take the pill, it actually works. And people trust it.
Right.
All we have now is Nature's Finest, and there's multiple versions of Nature's Finest, and some are not great. You know any?
Interesting.
What, you take pills, right? You take magnesium?
Yeah.
Okay, you know which one you trust?
No.
That's my point. So that's why GDOS Health and Wellness Products has to be branded a special way and build a special,
And promoted a special way.
That's right. Anyway, that's my part of my vision.
Part of things is, I just wanted to ask you, I asked about the mentorship. So have you ever thought of do you mentor people?
My whole life, but I don't know what I should be doing now. Right now, I need to get a few things done, and then I could open up to do more in many areas. There's some things that I have to clear up first. Like
Besides the problem with US, I know I can't help in that area, but can I help in some way? I am an art collector. I am a financier. I am a developer. I am a speaker. I am a family man. I am
well, that's a lot.
Health promoter.
Well, getting to know me is great because me getting to know you is great because, yeah, in many areas I need counterparts. I can barely read and write. I certainly can't count. So a person whose brain is, in a mechanics of businesses, every case I've always had.
I'm not far away from you, by the way, age-wise. So.
No, but I mean, and I never could read or write or count. So, but like in fashion, I had a great partner where we created these licenses. I had 80 different licenses, mostly Syrian Jews, 75 of them, and the 5 others. And each company separately was run by a different group of smart, and I didn't make lingerie. We made great lingerie, and I found the right licensee and produced and promoted and marketed the lingerie, but that was not my forte. I never distributed records, but I produced a lot of good records, The day-to-day management because I was a management company, but I was good at managing artists or hands-on, but then I hired people and they were better than I was. Every business I've ever had has been equipped with people smarter and better than me. Everyone. And
you're the visionary. You're the visionary.
The film, the television, everything. The fashion. I had a great designer who I still, want to put to work. I want to buy back the clothing company, actually. And even though it's not for me, it's time. The flag was upside down. Remember Fat Farm? The flag was upside down and a sign of distress. And I saw a very famous influencer / actor wearing the upside down flag the other day. And they sent it to me and said, everybody's talking about his sweater. And I'm thinking, the upside down flag, they had the big like Ralph Lauren, but upside. And the hang tag from that in 1992 said, it's not anti-patriotic, and it is very patriotic. In fact, it's a sign of the time where it is distress.
It's about turning America around.
Yeah, that too. It's all those things. But it was written in 92, and it was made as a political statement then. And to buy it back and then give it to, there's a designer who is kind of popular, amongst like all over Asia and America. He has a good little following, enough, fashion you don't want a big thing, you don't need. It doesn't have to be Pharrell designing a brand, you have to have somebody who's credible and real designer to drop. And so Kevin Leong, who I love, I should give him Fat Farm. And also he's designing some Def Jam merchandise because I own the name still. But Kevin Leong, if the story was that Russell bought back Fat Farm, minimal amount of money, and then gave it to Kevin, and then we launched it in Japan. He did pop-up shops in Japan and in Korea, and then he, make it so that Americans can get their hands on it, but not buy it, like give it to a bunch of celebrities and then launch it. It could become quite popular. It would be very easy because Kevin would, and people are wearing the same designs now. Now Argyle sweaters, in the hip hop community are quite popular. So I can imagine a pink Argyle sweater just like we launched, but I mean, obviously it's really high end. Because we were very expensive. We were way more expensive than Ralph Lauren. Right? You remember that? Of course we were way more. So I can imagine now this next generation buying into the brand. But that'll just be fun. But to give it to Kevin to design and to build infrastructure around him is easy for me because I've done that. So I know how to do that much. But I can always find a partner in any space. The reason Captain Herb and I are doing, because he's Captain Herb. So I'm with the right guy to do an herb.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, so it depends on what you like. You say you're a developer. I do want to build this all over the world. I own 100% of this place.
Do you think it needs to be, it's so great now. What else would you do?
I put a few things in it, but just places.
Put apartments, put villas?
No, maybe it's not about investing more in here. It may be the right hyperbaric chain, but it may be
But these are small things.
A few, very small. But the idea of building more, like you said, the idea of building more and then licensing, and before you know it, this place is all over the world. South Africa, Dubai, Saudi, these people have already very aggressive, in terms of getting it done. Sheikh Sharouk said he'd give me an island, and a man-made island in Dubai is not impossible. There's just too much of it already. And right now, the real estate's worth 30% less. He was giving me an island with 16 bungalows on it so I could build this hotel. So I gotta finish what I'm doing first. And I'm by myself, I'm not even in this space. I don't even know how I got here. I don't know how I built this. It's not something I couldn't count, and I made rush card, and I certainly have never history in hotels, and I got this done, and I was lucky enough to get it done on time, on budget. I'm lucky to get here. Someone who knows what they're doing now. Rush card, we were doing that, no one knew. David Rosenberg knew a little bit, I knew a little bit, but we invented a whole thing. Finally, the right people came along, because when you build something new, the right people find you.
Absolutely. If you're up to doing something really, really high-end here in Bali, this is my dream to do this in Chandidasa. I would love to show you the land. I would love for you, maybe you lead the process and make an invitation and drive you. I can drive you guys up there. You need to climb a little bit to see this place. But it's amazing, only about a kilometer away is the beach club. So you take electric buggy, you're in a secluded place, you take electric buggy and you go to the beach.
We've done almost no branding for this place. And we've had, so the idea of building a second place, that's more away and special and has its own, I'm open to talk about it.
Okay.
We usually ask our guests, it's very simple, to give some advices to younger people.
Okay. All right, I will. I have something.
Maybe you can tell in few words your ideal vision of the world.
At 68 years old now, I'm an old man. What have I learned about life and something like that? I can maybe sum it up, because I've been a yogi for over 30 years now, and I've been writing books and living these things. I can say that in all certainty that everyone is only here for more moments of presence. Everybody wants these feelings, state of needing nothing, right? That's what we're here for. So if we could have a second of nirvana or samadhi or taqwa or Christ consciousness or heaven on earth, every prophet has a different name, but we all are seeking that feeling of needing nothing. This kind of happiness or bliss that comes from this present mind. And so everything we do in life, every single thing we do is geared towards having those minutes. And what the yogi is seeking, or a wise person most likely, is seeking to expound on those moments, to live in that present moment, not just for the response to the new car or for the orgasm, but to live present, awake, and to just be here and see the miracles of the world unfolding, to see life as it is, for the beauty that it is. So we're all seeking to get more seconds of that, but the yogi and the good struggling Christian wants Christ consciousness. They want heaven on earth. And this is taught to them by their prophets, all of them, but overlooked by most of the masses. So this, to me, I share, my book, Super Rich, is about the state of needing nothing, right? The Atman is the book, Do You. They're all the same book, different names. So the only thing I've learned in life is that we're here for self-realization. And as we're moving towards self-realization, we have all of these obstacles and things that we think get us there and things that end the neediness. But to really end the neediness for extended amounts of time, and if not forever, this idea of full enlightenment, that's, a pie in the sky, but we know we can live more present more often. And so the things that are given to us in Scripture are tools to get there. So try to remember these things and live by them. So that's what I've learned. That's it. It's in all my books. They're all short. All the books, different titles, but in the end, our goals in life. You don't know when God will bless you with this fully present mind, right? But you know that if you do right, based on Scripture's instructions, you'll have more experiences of presence. If you do good karmic work, if you meditate more often, if you smile and breathe in your physical practice, right? You'll be more present more often. And this is what we're seeking. We want the end result. We get a new car, we sit in it, oh shit, new car, and then it goes away. Orgasm, gone. These things disappear. We want to expound on these seconds of presence, right? So, and the tools are given to you. So as much as I can wake up in the morning and meditate every morning, go to yoga, go in the cryo chamber, and try to make sure that my circulation and my, because even with every religious practice, there's some physical component. And yogis speak highly of the asana, the physical part of yoga. It's a small part of yoga, but it's definitely, as Westerners think of yoga as the physical practice, right? So the asana practice means seat. And asana, we want a seat in life. That's all we want, is a seat.
Absolutely.
And a comfortable seat is life's goal.
Thank you.